Well, it's been almost exactly 2 years, and finally, the pandemic is dissipating. We made our choices, we learned our lessons, and it's a new dawn. And it's a new season for the year 2022, and a new time for all of us to embrace new life, new opportunities, new abundance. And while we balance our care and genuine prayer for peace and the awareness of a world that still includes unthinkable tragedy and sorrow and even war, we also are grateful for how blessed we are. And so let us use this spring of 2022 to take everything that we've learned, clear the past, and move forward in gratitude for the freedom that we have, for the blessings of our lives, for the opportunity to come together again in community, online, and yes, in person. We are all part of the awakening world, and we all have the roles that we're playing as individuals and collectively. We are the imaginal cells finding each other to create a beautiful, incredible butterfly out of the old paradigm. So welcome to spring of 2022. Welcome to the awakening world.
We come from the same source, a powerful love force. We're coming together, stronger than ever, not divided. We come from the same source, a powerful love force. We're coming together, hear the call, you are invited. We come from the same source, a powerful love force.
Welcome everybody to the Awakening World, Saturday night edition. And I'm Love Coach Scott Thomas. I'm your co-host tonight, along with the wonderful Jennifer K. Hill, who you'll meet in a few minutes. And I want to welcome everybody. I want to welcome those of you that are watching on Facebook or the YouTube channels, our friends at Unify, and also thank you to John and Summer Raymer. Through the Sign Network, we go out to as many as 100 different Facebook groups and pages. So if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, Alan Steinfeld's New Reality YouTube channel or the Global Peace Tribe YouTube channel, welcome. And guess what? You can come on into our Zoom room, and that's a good idea. Because by coming into the Zoom room, it's easier for us to chat with you, and you may want to have some direct conversations with some of the remarkable human beings, healers that are on the show. And it's really easy and it's free to come on into the Zoom room. Go to globalpeacetribe.com, globalpeacetribe.com, click register, and then there's a promo code, which is new friend. You're going to then get emailed automatically Zoom room links for all of our shows for the rest of all of May and all of June. We do a show every Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday morning. And what we do is we take a topic and we explore it in depth. And this weekend's topic has been, what are the tools, what are the practices for healing those blocks we might have to greater connection? Life is connection. Our greatest moments in life are when we feel connected, whether it's to another human being, or to an animal, or to nature, or to ourself, or to divinity, whatever you might call that. These are our greatest moments, and we all have blocks. It might be physical healing issues, emotional healing. It might be what I call veils of past pain that come down, and we go into fear, which is perfectly human. Well, this weekend we are blessed to be having some world-class healers and wisdom keepers and luminaries who are helping us to learn how we can remove those blocks and be more connected to our divinity, be more connected to our most alive self, and have greater experiences of connection. So come on board and welcome us, or welcome to us, I should say. I also want to acknowledge a lot of you are watching the replay, the recording. More and more people are watching us on our YouTube channel after the fact, and we love you too. Whether you're watching live or watching the recording, welcome. And especially when you're tuning in, we're learning that energy is forever, right? Love is forever. So even if it's an energetic healing that you're observing and you're not watching it live, you can still drop in, feel the vibe, and gain from it. So I want to really emphasize that. And let me now introduce you to some of the people that we're going to have on the show tonight. And a big thank you. We're going to meet her at length, but Jennifer Cahill rocks. She is such a wonderful person to work with, to collaborate with. She's so wonderful that I'm collaborating with her 2 weeks in a row. She's an evolutionary leader, an entrepreneur, author, speaker, TV host. She's hosted popular shows with Deepak Chopra, among many, many others. So I'm honored that she's co-hosting with me. And thank you so much, Jennifer, for being with us. And she has brought on her crew. She has invited 4 of her favorite healers, including David Grude. And all the people you're seeing are who we're going to hear from tonight. David, for example, is an intuitive reader, a numerologist, and he's going to talk all about the power of acceptance. And I'm excited about that. We're also going to meet Aaron Rodriguez. And Aaron, again, is part of Ohm Heels, and we're going to be learning all about Ohm Heels. And he's an internationally recognized shaman, certified Reiki master, teacher, and also an energetic intuitive. So we're looking forward to meeting him. We're going to have a group healing experience coming to us all the way from the uppermost part of Ontario. So we've got many countries represented tonight, is Nancy Pintia. And she's been serving humanity with very high source of unconditional love flowing through her beautiful heart as an Ascension healer and coach. And she's going to take us on quite a beautiful ride. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you so much for being with us, Nancy. And we also have with us, and these are all, by the way, new friends to the Awakening World. So thank you, Jennifer, for bringing all these new friends on. This is Karen Frances McCarthy, and she uses the power of mediumship to heal the heart. She's a certified medium and a best-selling author, and so she blends ethical mediumship, the Celtic mysticism, which she was born into, and compassion and loving kindness from many years of Buddhist practice. So thank you so much for being with us. And those are the healers that we're going to be hearing from today. And it's Saturday night. And so for those of you that are regulars, you know that on Saturday night, we also like to move and groove. So we always have music. And we have live music. And I'm really excited because we've got not one, not 2, but 3 wonderful live musical artists, including Tatiana Speed. And Tatiana made her debut on the Awakening World not that long ago, just a few months ago, and I can't have her on the show enough. When I discover somebody like Kristen Hoffman or Tatiana Speed, I want to hear their music as much as I can. Even during the sound check, she said, well, I'll just play 1 minute. I said, no, play the whole song because I wanted to hear it all. So Tatiana is back with us. And not only is Tatiana with us, but, you know, we talk a lot about epigenetics, and clearly that talent's got to come from a pretty powerful gene pool. And that gene pool includes her mother, Lori Ann Speed, who's also going to play. It turns out she's an incredible concert pianist, and she's going to also provide music for us. So welcome, Tatiana and her mother, Lori Ann. It's really fun to have a mother-daughter combination playing with us tonight. That's really fun. And it was just recently Mother's Day. So this is a little bit of an Awakening World post-Mother's Day experience. So thank you so much. And coming back to us, our house musician, Omashar, is going to be playing during the main show with us. So thank you very much, Omashar, for being with us once again. Well, I am going to turn it back over to Jennifer Cahill, and I want us to learn a little bit more about Ohm Heels, which is her organization, and all the healers that you just saw are part of Ohm Heels. So, Jennifer, tell us about this beautiful organization you've co-founded, and I'll also bring up the website.
Mm. Thank you so much, Scott. It's such a pleasure to be back here with everyone. And I'm so grateful to be in harmony and community with you and our incredible healers from the Ohm-Heels platform, as well as our musical talents. So I was privileged enough to get to hear a little taster of some of their magical music earlier. So my business partner, Moon Cho, and I co-founded Ohm Heels. Moon's sister actually passed away of cancer several years ago, and Moon was crushed. And she said, "Oh my gosh, I need to do something." And so she birthed this idea, and I was just grateful enough to be invited to come and play in this consciousness and energy healing field with her. And so, over the course of over a year, we developed a matchmaking algorithm talking about intimacy and deep healing in our relationships. Many of us go our whole lives and we can never find any sort of therapist, coach, healer who is in alignment with us. Sometimes we meet someone and they're just not the right fit. You can't quite put your finger on it, or you're not able to receive what you need from them. So we developed a custom matching platform with almost 80 practitioners now from around the world, including the four incredible souls who are going to be sharing their wonderful healing wisdom today, and a variety of different modalities. And so you can go through the view all practitioners in the upper right hand corner and see, healers in Canada and Europe and Morocco. So we have literally every continent except Antarctica. And you can also click on the Get Matched button at the top, and any of the healers that you see today, you can find out for fun if you match with them. It's free to get matched. And you can also use the Awaken 10 promo code to get 10% off your first session. So that's Awaken 10 in all caps. And we just have some really incredible, I've personally done sessions with every one of the healers on today, and I can't speak highly enough for them. And a quick shout out to Pia Avila, who did a pre-session for us in the pre-show. And just a huge shout out to her and the amazing work that she does with the Twin Ray as well. There are so many incredible practitioners and modalities from around the world. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. And I'll bring up Pia for a moment so we can see her. And, if you missed the opening early show, for people that give us their email address, you get the Zoom room link and you come in early. And every Saturday night we do something special. And tonight it was listening and watching Pia do an healing experience for Jennifer and for Omashar. So definitely you can always go back to our YouTube channel. If you haven't discovered the Global Peace Tribe YouTube channel, it's great. And that's where you can find all of our previous shows, all of the early shows, all of the main shows, and I even take special segments. So if you love the Twin Ray, just put Twin Ray in search and you'll find all the Twin Ray experiences that we've provided. I'm also going to go back to a moment to this practitioner list because you heard Jennifer talk about getting matched. So I did that. And they have this really fun little questionnaire that you fill out. And then what happens is they make suggestions. And I wound up with this wonderful woman as my healer. And she was amazing. Right away, I didn't say anything to her. Right away, she could tell I had something going on in my neck. That's the biggest area of my area. I've got arthritis in my neck. She did her, and it immediately felt better. So that was my immediate experience. So Ohm Heals is, we're living in a time just like during the pandemic where we really are learning how to use the internet in wonderful, wonderful ways. Look at how many medicines now people are actually, Western medicine is using the internet and Zoom. We're not having to see doctors in person like we used to. And it's the same thing with all these healing practitioners. So thank you, Jennifer, for creating Ohm Heals and helping people to get the support that they need. It's a beautiful, beautiful gift. Thank you.
Yeah, you are so welcome, Scott. I just invite everybody to consider we are all healthy, whole, and complete, and any sort of healing you might receive, whether it's from an energy medicine, a traditional doctor, is merely giving you access to that piece of yourself that you forgot existed, that is that beautiful wholeness and integrity and health that resides within all of us. And even a fun practice as we all go out into our weeks this coming week is sometimes we have this already always listening of something is wrong. You know, we might have a spouse or a friend or a child that they are this way. And so as we go into this week, what if you connected to the wholeness in everyone? What if you put on glasses or a lens of seeing that everybody in your life is already whole, healthy, and complete and connecting to that perfection? So just a little game we could all play this week.
Jennifer, I'm not surprised as I hear you say that we are in alignment with each other. Because when people ask me, well, what's the difference between love coaching and traditional therapy? My answer always is that in traditional therapy, those therapists, God bless them, have spent years learning how to diagnose and evaluate
Mm,
what's wrong with someone. And there's a
mm,
purpose to that. But in love coaching, we take the same approach. Nobody is broken. There's actually
mm,
nothing fundamentally wrong with anyone, but rather we, in love coaching, like to support people to remember their
mm,
divinity, to remember who they
mm.
truly are, and to remove the illusions of shame or the illusions of wrongness, um, and to come back into wholeness. So I love what you just said, and it's a beautiful alignment. Thank you.
Yeah, and a quick side note, our other friends who originally introduced you and I, Scott, Teresa Collins with the Global Coherence Pulse team, next week before the show, there's the Global Coherence Pulse. And I just thought of it because it's called Direct Connection to the Divine. And that's with Sri Pritaji, who's going to be joining. And that's, of course, as well free. So you can go to the globalcoherencepulse.org. And just so much love to everyone on the Pulse team as well, pulsing the love every month with pulsing the planet every month with love.
And during the Global Peace Tribe announcements, we'll pull up the website and show all of that.
Perfect. Great.
Well,
Wonderful.
speaking of alignment, I just feel so aligned with the heart and spirit of this wonderful artist. She's a heartist, which is a global coherence pulse term, an artist of the heart. Tatiana, I so enjoyed the song when you played it, but tell us a little bit, because this is a very personal song for you.
Yeah, well, I first of all, thank you for having me back, Scott. I'm just loving being here and getting to know your audience. It's been so special. And yeah, because of the theme today, the theme of healing, I decided I wanted to share a more personal song. This is a song I wrote during my own healing journey. This that I'm doing now is kind of my reemergence, but 6 years ago, I got hit with a series of real health challenges. And at that time, there was a lot of questions about the way forwards. I was seeing a lot of doctors. My family was very concerned. But each time I tuned in with myself, the message I kept getting was you just need stillness. You need silence. You need to be able to listen to yourself. And I just felt this calling to really turn inward. And it took a lot of courage because, I was involved in many projects in life, and I was supposed to move, and I had a partner, and there's a lot of things going on in my life, and I got the message just to really let it all go and walk away. And I moved to a little tiny town in the interior of British Columbia in the woods by a beautiful lake, and just really gave myself that permission to rest and turn inward. And this song is about that journey. I danced the streets of Paris, I fell in love in New York, and I watched the sunset over Tel Aviv. I felt the snows of Montreal, the desert suns of the east, and I let my gypsy soul roam free. But I'm leaving it all behind me for a simple life. Somewhere deep in the woods and far, far away from the city lights. everything I know behind me. I am leaving to find something true and deep. I ran as fast as I could, for as far as I was able, and I got my victory. But if victory means feeling that all of me needs healing, then I just don't want to play. So I'm leaving it all behind me for somewhere quiet and still. I need silence, I need solitude, and I will rest until I've had my fill. I am leaving everything I know behind me. I am leaving to find something true and deep. We can just feel the healing energy of this call, all these beautiful healers on this beautiful call. Feeling that healing presence, the invitation to rest and soften. Now I have a little house in the middle of the woods where the silence sings. I'm alone, but I'm happy, I feel content. I have everything I need. I left the world and its demands, and now I walk barefoot on the land. And I listen to the trees as they tell me to be as silent as I can. To be as silent as I can. To be as silent as I can. Thank you, everybody.
Oh, Tatiana. Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott.
You know, something that's so important about your story and that you sing about is to have the courage to leave the busyness, to leave all the things that are important. You know, we call them distractions, but they're important to us. But to listen when that inner call is time to pull out, time to change, time to drop in. It takes a lot of courage to do that. And a lot of courage to just rest, to just heal and not stay in the busyness, which includes the devotion that we might have to our family or our job or our work or whatever it is. So thank you for just reminding us it's a beautiful thing to love oneself enough and to trust one's higher guidance to take that time to drop out.
You articulated it so well. That is exactly what the experience was it took so much courage just to let everything go and to give myself permission to rest and turn inward. And once that happened, healing began. But you said one of the themes of today was healing and how to find that connection to oneself or others or nature. And for me, the path was really about connection to myself and giving myself that space and that time to really be able to listen. So, yeah.
Well, Spirit tells me that right now there are multiple people who who are either listening live or will watch this recording, who are deep down knowing they need to take that break. And so may your song and your courage be that sign, be that message from the universe of, yes, it's okay. It's a good thing to do.
So, yes. And that's such a message in my heart, actually, is just, oh my gosh, let's just give ourselves permission to rest and to step back. And this whole culture is driving us. There's a harshness to it and an intensity, and I really do feel this invitation to just soften and let some of that pressure go. And yeah, dear people, give yourself permission to rest. Yeah.
You're going to want more Tatiana. And so her website is her name, tatianaspeed.com. And definitely make sure that you put in your name, your email address, so you can stay in touch with all things Tatiana. And access her music. And please, let's all support our musical artists. It's very, very important. And she'll be back towards the end of the show. We're going to meet her midway when she introduces someone very special. And then at the end of the show, she's going to wrap her show up. So, Tatiana, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, everyone.
Well, it is time to start meeting and experiencing the Ohm Healers. So, to introduce our first Ohm Healer, here's Jennifer.
Thank you, Scott, and huge, deep, deep gratitude to Tatiana. As we were talking in the pre-show, music is one of many forms of healing, and so always open your heart. I remember being a little girl and being in church when I was about maybe 12 or 13 years old. I used to go to youth group, and I just remember one time the music playing and just feeling such a beautiful connection to the divine and to everything and everyone. And I think it's a wonderful reminder when we allow our hearts, minds, bodies, and spirits to be moved and to connect to that divinity all around us. So thank you, Tatiana. And I'm so excited to introduce a friend, a healer, a beautiful soul sister and spirit, Nancy Pintilla, who is an Ascension healer, a master healer. I've had, I can't even tell you how many sessions with Nancy over the years. She was actually referred to me by one of my dear friends, Nina, who has introduced me to several great healers. And I know she's Nina's go-to healer as well. And Nancy, the sessions you provide for people are so deep and so profound. I actually remember just about every single session of where I've been with you. And oftentimes I'm sitting there and you start doing the session and I just drop straight out of time and space. It's like I'm sitting here, I'm Jennifer in a chair or sitting or laying, and then Nancy comes in with her chants and her love and her radiance, and I'm gone. And I mean that in the most beautiful way. And Nancy, thank you for being such a beautiful light shining on the planet and sharing your heart in all the ways that you do, and even all the ways that we don't get to see that you do. And I'm so excited to have you facilitate one of your loving meditations today, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful for you. You're an absolute angel in our lives. You radiate so much love for everyone. You're just so unconditional. So thank you. I'm so grateful.
I love you, my friend.
Yeah,
and so we hand it over to you, and please, we'll now all surrender to the grace that is Nancy's energy field that she radiates around the world. So I hand it over to you, my friend.
Thank you. You're all going to surrender to your own grace and to the grace of the highest source. So, welcome, gorgeous souls, and welcome from my heart to yours, to your radiant heart healing meditation. So you may sit or lie comfortably as you close your eyes and focus on your breathing, your beautiful life force energy flowing in through your nose as your belly expands and out through your nose as your belly contracts back towards your spine. Taking full, deep, rhythmic breaths. Feeling your heart beating and opening your heart to fully receive in this moment. Focus on your breathing, feel the rhythm as you give yourself permission now to fully be present in your heart. Nobody wants anything from you. Nobody needs anything from you. This is your time. This is about you and your life. Your beautiful force. You are a force for good in this world, and it's time now to shine your light and to create more unity and love amongst our humanity, our earth, all sentient beings. So as you keep your eyes closed and allow your eyelids to become heavier and heavier, imagine now that your right hemisphere of your brain is joining the left hemisphere of your brain, bringing you into a full brain state, a whole brain state. So you may fully transform in this moment to be whole and present. You may call in any guides that you wish to bring forth on this journey. And focus now again on your breath as though your heart is breathing for you, beating love throughout your entire body and mind. And imagine now that you are drawing a very large circle on the floor in front of you. Perhaps you are using a magical wand of light, setting the intention for this healing meditation to amplify the magnetic field of your heart. See, sense, and feel the energy that you are creating with this beautiful, beautiful radiant heart circle. What colors do you see? What are the properties of your unique healing circle? As you create this beautiful outline of this very large circle, focus on your desired intention. Now looking into this radiant heart circle, imagine with your eyes closed and your senses ignited, the unconditional, eternal love of your Creator, God, and the universe, infusing your entire circle with luminous white light of purity, healing, and divinity. Breathing into this light as you focus, sense, and feel. Next, imagine a miraculous healing energetic force of Christ consciousness, creating a huge golden heart of light in the center of your radiant heart circle. Christ consciousness is a direct extension of your Creator, and you are also a direct extension of this beautiful divine energy. Imagine the angels coming forward and dancing within this circle. Feel their presence and their welcoming, open hearts as you gently step into this circle. Feel the energy of this radiant heart circle, infusing every cell, muscle, and fiber of your being. Feel the temperature in this circle. Feel the texture beneath your feet. What do you see in this circle? Feel the energy of the colors of the consciousness that is present in this circle, this healing, love, consciousness, energy. flowing through you and orchestrating every beat of your beautiful heart, reminding you of your purpose here in this life, reminding you that you are a force for good, that you are of the highest source of love and creation. You may now lie down in this light, in the center of the golden heart. Feel the earth beneath you. Feel the earth supporting you, nurturing you. Feel the unconditional love of Mother Earth. You are one with nature. You are one with the Divine Mother. Feel her love and recognize that you are worthy of this love. Feel her love healing any armor upon your heart that's held you back from giving and receiving love wholeheartedly. Breathe in this love, this nurturing, this nourishment of every cell, muscle, and fiber of your being. Taking 3 deep breaths here, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Feel the rhythm of your beautiful life force energy. With each and every breath, feel your heart center fully illuminated with the embodiment of this Christ consciousness of Mother Earth, the Creator. As you awaken to your own divinity, you are filled with unconditional love and reconnect through your heart to the universal oneness of all creation. All are worthy of being bathed in this grace, in this healing, in this light. Feel that beautiful, illuminated heart of yours expanding more and more with every breath. And imagine this love, this divinity radiating out across the globe to all living beings. As you recognize this light within you, this love within you, every word you speak, every action that you take, every intention that you have is to recognize the divinity of all beings with love, honor, and respect, with reverence, unity, and true heart-centered intimacy. We are all one. We are all worthy. And you are here at this time to create heaven on earth, to step into the highest love consciousness and to be that truth of who you are. Take 3 more deep, heart-centered breaths here. And allow yourself to fully receive now healing energy. of Christ consciousness, of the angels, of God, source energy. In nomine Padre, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Ave male spiritus, Ave male spiritus, Ave male spiritus. In nomine Padre, et Filii, in nomine Jesus Christi. Amen. Feel your body receiving the healing crystal energies being infused within you now. You may even visualize any other crystals that you would like to have included in this healing. Gaia, Mother Gaia, will to settle, will to live, will to better, will to give. Gaia, Mother Gaia, Gaia, Mother Gaia, will to settle, will to live, will to better, will to give. Gaia, Mother Gaia, Gaia, Mother Gaia, will to settle, will to live, will to better, will to give. Gaia, Mother Gaia, Gaia, Mother Gaia, will to settle, will to live, will to better, will to give. Gaia, Mother Gaia. Focus on your beautiful breath and feel your heart opening more and more. Being liberated from wounds of the past that have been holding you back from being the truth of who you are and from allowing others to do the same. You may repeat now in the silence of your mind, I am a unique expression of God, Creator, Source, Consciousness. With every breath you take, expand your awareness of your true essence, the I am presence that you are. You come back to center now, sorry. Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm grateful for that little thing because I have to host a show, and you sent me into such a beautiful.
Sorry, I kind of got lost in it and then I lost track of time. Sorry,
Oh
guys.
no, perfect.
I'm used to going much longer.
Beautiful. I'm sure people are going to want to know more about your beautiful offerings. And so I'm on Nancy's website. What a beautiful name, innermiracles.com. And clearly you provide a lot of inner miracles for people. Tell us about what's coming. I mean, it's just started. Is the Nourished Soul still available for people to jump onto?
Yes, it's starting we're opening up registration next week.
Okay.
By Wednesday, it'll be fully open.
Okay.
And this is our latest version of the digital version of Nursal. We've done this with groups across the globe online for many years. And now we're offering the digital version that's updated for the 5D consciousness that we're bringing in. And you have lifetime access to it. Now it's a program that brings you to wholeness. So there's energy healing. There's all kinds of reprogramming for limiting belief patterns. There's tons of meditations and breath work. Exercises. There's a detoxification program at the beginning. And then there's also the option of the anti-inflammatory lifestyle recipes, eating plan, grocery list for each week. So it takes out the overwhelm of living a true wellness lifestyle of high vibration and healing. So it's helping you to raise your vibration with no counting calories, no cutting carbs. You're eating the right carbs. You're not eating like 800 calories of gummy bears. You're eating the right foods that are actually fueling your body, your cells, your mitochondria, your mind, and raising your spirit, uplifting your spirit, and healing your mind after these few years of craziness. Yeah, the whole purpose of the program is to help you to be empowered and to step into wholeness and to heal and to know that you have a healer within you. You don't need anything outside of you. When you recognize everything you need is within you, you just need to empower yourself to
Yes.
own that.
That seems to be a real theme, and some of the comments that are coming in. And Tatiana says that was absolutely incredible. Thank you. And I want to invite everybody, whether you're watching on Unify, that's my device that has Unify on it, or any of the Facebook pages, give us your thoughts. How did you experience that? What was that like for you? It's always wonderful for our healers to read your comments. And I want to go back to Nancy's website again. Again, her website is innermiracles.com. And you also have Ascension Healing Circles. So as I click Learn More, tell us a little bit about what this is.
Well, I've always done individual healings and the odd little groups, but Ascension Healing Circles are offered on Wednesday evenings now. I just started offering this through COVID more. And the month of May, next week is fully booked, but the week after there's a few openings still. And then June, there's still openings. I like to bring people together in groups for healing because the energy is so much more powerful. And after everyone's been so divided for so long on our planet, it really helps people to feel that connection, that human connection, and recognize that divinity within that connection and to love one another and to really feel like they're not alone. So many people have been so depressed and there have been many suicides. There's been many people that have just been going through so much. And this type of circle helps people to really feel love. Like even you don't know each other and yet you're feeling this oneness. It's really overwhelmingly beautiful. So I love it. And it's a variety of energies that I use. Of course, I always purify my energy. I have my energy purified. I don't bring you my energy. I bring you source energy. And because the miracles occur, of course, through source, not through me only. I'm just a guide. I'm just a conduit. So.
Well, you're a very clear guide and a very clear conduit. I've brought Jennifer on so that she can have a chance to say thank you as well.
Thank you, Nancy. I love you. I love you. I love you, my friend. You, as always, thank God Scott didn't put me on camera. I was like, somebody made a comment about melting out of your chair. Completely just dropping out as usual. It's so beautiful. And I love a lot of times when Nancy starts her sessions, she starts with some of those beautiful chants at the end that she did. And those just drop me in. Oh gosh, your voice, your energy, everything, Nancy, is so beautiful. And I'm so happy that you were able to join us today, my friend. I love and appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm so honored to be here. What a beautiful group. They're just amazing. And I'm sorry that meditation ended the way it did. I just got so into it. I didn't look at the time.
All good. All good. Thank you, Nancy.
Much love, Nancy.
Hopefully you'll come back again.
All of you. Oh, absolutely. I love you guys. Thank you.
Well, speaking of coming back again, our next guest is someone that was on my Sacred Sunday show, I think about 8 weeks ago, and I said, we're doing a show on healing and you got to come back. And she said, yes, and I'm delighted. And we are talking about Kristen Johnston. She's an artist, a visionary, and an expert in the field of energy medicine. And her mission is so beautiful. It's to help people expand their consciousness so they can awaken, heal, and create a life of meaning and purpose. That's so awakening world. She's also quite a Renaissance woman. She's a yoga teacher, hypnotist, Reiki master, graduate of the Reese Thomas Institute of Energy Medicine, and the founder of Quantum Health and Wellness in Massachusetts. She's written a book, which we're going to learn a little bit about a little bit later on. But Kristen, first of all, thank you for coming back and being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel so blessed by the music and the meditation and the energy healings. I'm just in my element. You guys are totally my people, and I'm just so grateful. So thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. So I want to ask you a question. When people are struggling, and even though they're regular practice, they're doing the practices, but they're really still struggling. Maybe they're feeling depressed. Maybe they're feeling, low-grade anxiety. What what do you recommend? What are some tools or practices for managing depression or low-grade anxiety?
Oh, it's such a good question. And I think that as humans, we can all kind of we all experience those feelings of disconnection and sort of feeling separate and isolated. And I think that the ultimate way to reconnect to self is to remember what you did when you were younger that made time stop. And I always invite people into this element of play and creativity and doing it just for fun. As adults, we get so analytical and we get so serious about things, and everything has to be work, and we forget that play and connection and healing happens in the moment. It happens in the present moment. It happens now. So I ask people, what did you do when you were younger, or what can you do today that almost makes you forget about yourself? Because depression and anxiety, it all stems from this lack of connection to the inner self, like that inner light, that inner peace, that connection to the moment. So it's different for everybody. For me, I really love art. I'm always painting or sculpting or creating or making jewelry. But for other people, it's connection to in relationship. It's connection to friends and family, and really just like listening to other people's stories or feeling this emotional, just connectivity. So asking people and encouraging them to become selfless, not in the sense that you bend over backwards giving yourself to somebody else, but to become selfless in the sense that you're not self-absorbed, you are absorbed by source in a moment. To me, that's the ultimate healing.
Beautiful. So I want to encourage all of our people watching, put in the chat box, what are some ways that you can connect to your more youthful self when you were really passionately excited about something? Let's all do some examples. And the more people put that in the chat box, whether you're watching on Unify, Facebook, YouTube, or here in our Zoom room, that inspires others. Sometimes we go, oh yeah, that's right. So while they're doing that, and I really hope that people will put into the chat box their examples, here's a question for you. And by the way, I didn't rehearse any of these questions for Kristen, so she's being spontaneous here. We have a request for someone to ask, and I'm not sure if this is your field of expertise. If it is, great. If not, we'll pass it on to someone else. But we've got this Scorpio full moon, blood moon coming up, and a powerful lunar eclipse. So Mary Noonan is asking, how do we navigate these energies? What does this represent? What does this mean? And how do we work with it? Is that something within your wheelhouse?
So astrology is totally not my wheelhouse, but I'm going to go ahead and make the assumption that these are intense energetic events.
Yeah.
So whenever intensity presents itself, I always ask people to allow it to invite you into yourself. Really feel what it like. Do you feel like, being expansive and creating? I know that usually when eclipses happen, I always get very creative and I tend to manifest really big things, big projects, big stuff that's new that makes me really excited. But for other people, that level of intensity might actually make you want to just kind of go inward, ride it out, depending on how sensitive your energy field is.
That's beautiful. And can you give a specific example of how to work with that? How would you do that? How would you do that during a very intense, energetic moment?
So I tend to create from inward. Like I take something that's inside of me, whether it's an idea or a passion or something that energy that I'm feeling inside, and I manifest things outside of myself. So whether it's through writing projects or art projects, or it's like I feel it as an energy within me that wants to be expressed. But other people, depending on how sensitive they are, they might feel these intense, whether it's solar flares or, astrological events, and they feel like they really need to go inward and meditate and get really, really quiet, or even do some yoga or some breath work, or as a way to move that intensity. Because if we just stay stuck in our minds, which is really, I think, where most of humanity lives, right? We're kind of like very analytical, very left brain. And I think that we're shifting. I think that's part of this shift in consciousness into feeling and being. But people, we all experience ourselves as separate and as individuals. So these events, astrological or inner, we really have to be connected to ourselves and say, what am I being called to do right now? Am I being called to rest and not just think it, but really feel it? Is your body tired? Are you needing nourishment? Are you needing self-care? Or are you needing to dance and play and, have playmates and go have fun? It's going to be an individual experience for all of us.
Beautiful. And by the way, we're getting a lot of wonderful responses in our Zoom room to what people can do to remember to play. A lot of dancing, a lot of time in nature, bicycling, forest bathing. So these are great, great examples, and please keep them coming up. So a question came up just now, and thank you, on Facebook, about self-care and how to balance self-care when you've got, well, this particular person has 3 other children. So how to balance self-care with care for others is the question. Or I'm translating it that way.
That can be very difficult. One of the things that I actually write about in my book is that there's different types of people. There's different soul constitutions. So some people are wired for caretaking, and it just comes naturally, and it actually gives them energy. Other people may not be wired that way, and it takes a lot of energy to caretake, especially children, because children are they need a lot. They need a lot of energy and attention and love. So really, self-care when it comes to caretaking children is, again, checking in with the self and really saying, where is my charge at? Like, am I low charge right now? And if I'm low charge, what do I need to do? What time do I need to set aside? And what would fill me up? Parenting is I have children, so I know it requires a great deal of our effort. And when we're on this awakening path and we're wanting to be balanced and be holistic and healed, sometimes, raising children or caretaking other people can leave you feeling completely drained. So if you have a way, just like we said in the beginning, if you have a way to connect to your own self, your own essence, your own source, it'll charge you, it'll recharge your batteries. And so then you actually have the energy to deliver to others, and you're not just consistently pouring and giving from an empty cup.
So you mentioned your book, so I'm going to take a moment there just to let people know, whoa, that's not your book. There's your book. Heal the People. This is available on Amazon. And tell us about Heal the People.
So Heal the People was a vision that I had 10 years ago when I journeyed with the plant medicine Iboga. And all I saw was the title when I was journeying with this plant. It was a psychedelic experience, and I saw the letters HTP show up on the book. And then the book spelled out Heal the People. And coincidentally, I was in a 3-year mystery school program called HTP, the Healer Training Program. So what ultimately I did was take all the information that I'd gathered over a 10-year quest of asking, what does that mean? What does it mean to heal? What does it mean to heal self and be assistance to others? And I poured my heart and soul into this book to help people really understand what it means to be holistically human, not just at the level of the body and the emotions, but also at the level of, the ego and the willpower and the heart, the compassion, and sort of that Christ consciousness. And then how do we express it? How do we share it? How do we develop our intuition? And how do we connect to a source that's greater than self, or that, something that's a higher level of consciousness, and then how can we anchor that as individuals? How can we anchor unity onto the planet? How can we bring heaven onto earth and do it as humans in this experience of separation and limitation? How do we connect to unity? And so that book was sort of it's everything that I've learned along the way.
Well, that's probably a lot. So beautiful. By the way, it's interesting. We have exactly 111 participants in the Zoom room right now. For those of you who love 111, there you have it. All right, last question for you, Kristen. And this is actually from our beloved Tatiana. She asks, I'm fascinated by the comment about different soul constitutions. Can you talk about what that means?
Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite things to talk about, and it's a very large topic, so I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. And there's two different kind of camps when it comes to this. There's the psychological model, which says that these aren't soul constitutions, rather they are personality characteristics that are developed as a result of early childhood experience. But the way that I was taught in the mystery school was that these aren't developed in this lifetime. They're part of our soul, and they come in and we come in to express them. And so there's 5 different types, and they all manage their energy very differently. So therefore they have different gifts, and then they have different challenges. So there are creative idealists. Creative people have a very difficult time grounding onto the planet because they have an excessive amount of energy in the upper chakras. So there's thinkers, feelers, leaders, caretakers, and achievers. And so that's a very short and sweet way to put it's a very large body of information, but it's so fascinating and it's so helpful because once you learn it, it's like learning a language for all of your relationships. And what I learned through understanding the profiles and understanding how they run their energy was that if I was in my core soul quality, as a creative person, a creative idealist, and also a little bit of a leader, then I could help bring balance to all the other people in my life because I understood how they ran their energy and what they needed from me in order to be present. So it's an incredible tool for balancing self in relationship to others.
Beautiful. You've really inspired. I'm so pleased. Now our Zoom roomers are chatting up a storm. So thank you for inspiring that, getting it going. And I'm going to read just one comment. I think you'll enjoy this. This was inspired by your suggestion. Eleanor Joy, who I happen to know is, I believe, 80 years young, if I remember correctly. She writes, as a young girl, I remember playing games with friends like croquet or skating, and climbing a tall pine tree on the property, and basking in the aloneness and silence and infinity of nature. So thank you, Eleanor Joy, for sharing that.
I love it.
Kristen, I definitely want people to know a little bit also about your website, and there's a lot here. And her website is Quantum HW, standing for Quantum Health and Wellness, quantumhw.com. That's where you'll also find her book. We talked about Heal the People, so you can find the book there. But you've got a lot going on here. You put on events. You have a store, yeah?
Yes, we do. We've got a really nice little brick and mortar store in Seekonk, Massachusetts, which is kind of in the middle between Boston and Providence.
Yeah, and look at all the events going on. So for those in the Northeast, this is the place to go. And you also do online events. You've got healers and readers, probably some of the same people that, who's that wonderful looking healer? I bet she's good. And so you've got a lot going on here, and it's all at quantumhw.com. Thank you for your dedication of supporting the awakening world. Not just this awakening world show, but our great awakening world. And Jennifer, I know you're just meeting Kristen for the first time, but I want to bring you on for a moment.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kristen. I really loved your advice. And I understand the thing about astrology. That's one of the reasons we created Ohm Heels, is because I get lots of friends who are either astrologists, Akashic Record, or energy healers, and people often don't know that there are so many different modalities of energy medicine. And one person might be a medium expert, or David, who's coming on later, is numerology. And yet it's all facets of this beautiful diamond that lead us to healing. And I loved hearing about your iboga journey. I've only known a few people who have done it, and it's intense from what I hear, but I've also heard it can lead to profound transformation and wisdom, as you experienced.
Yes, to both things. The energy world kind of, it's like this web, and it connects us all, and it's so cool. It's very cool to watch it all unfold. But and iboga is very it is very potent medicine, and I that's always what I tell people. If it calls you, you will know it. But it's not something that I would ever consider like revisiting, recreationally. It's powerful medicine.
Yeah, we did a show with Scott a few months ago that people can watch the replay on plant medicine with Clay Kaler from Gateway Clinics and Beth Dupree, and as well as Neil Markey, and we did a whole show on it. We still need to do another one because plant medicine is its own whole energy and vibration of the different types of energy medicine that people can play with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, thank you,
Kristen,
Kristen. It
thank
was
you
such a
so
pleasure.
much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
We are one love. And Jennifer, I've kept you on because for Global Peace Tribe announcements, we love to support what our friends and collaborators are up to. And I want to put the spotlight on what's happening next Saturday and have you tell us about it.
Yes, we are so grateful to have Shri Pritaji joining us from O&O Academy. Every week, or every month, the third week of every month, on a Saturday, typically at noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern, we have people join us from around the world. This is a collaborative event. And so Sri Pataji is going to be talking about connecting to the divine, which ties in perfectly with your and my topic next week, Scott, which is listening to the soul and empowering our purpose. And so I invite everyone to check out the incredible pulse that's going to be happening next week. It's a great precursor. If you want to just recharge your battery in the middle of the day before the evening show starts with us, then I invite you to definitely tune into the pulse. It is free to join and to register and get the Zoom link. And our dear friend and co-collaborator, Teresa Collins, creates impeccable spaces that open our hearts, minds, bodies, and spirits. So grateful to know Teresa and the team at the Pulse.
And while we're talking about Global Coherence Pulse and Teresa, tell us a little bit about the 3-month virtual retreat that is taking place. It just started, but I think people could still come on in, yeah?
Yeah, it's still open actually. Teresa just extended it through the weekend of the Pulse next weekend. So through next Saturday, you can join. I'm actually a part of the retreat. I'll be one of the fireside speakers, and then I've joined as a participant as well. And I was honored to get to listen to the opening event that happened last Monday. And there's just so much wisdom and heart. And the idea is, what if we spent 3 months in coherence? What if it wasn't, let me drop into coherence for a few minutes before a meeting or in the middle of an upset? What if we as a team collaborated and created a field of coherence around the world for everything and everyone and sustained that for 3 months? And so there's wonderful, incredible speakers and meditations. Kadi J, who I think, I know she's been on the Pulse. I don't know. I think we may have had her on the Awakening World as well.
We
And
did,
Kadi
and
J,
actually,
oh my gosh.
she's great.
Yeah.
She did our meditation, and then I referred her to my friend Trish, who had her on the Self Love Show. So we love
Oh,
Connie J. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So, and the cool thing is, it's part of in the Islands of Coherence on the Mighty Networks. So, there's great content. There are articles and all sorts of wonderful things going on there to nourish your soul. So that way, we can do whatever we want. We could turn on Netflix or we could turn on the television or whatever it is. And what if, as another resource, I know for me, sometimes our default, you find yourself on your phone and, your default is, oh, let me go check social media or do this. And the idea is, what if our default became going into a state of coherence and co-collaborating with people? So that's the idea.
Beautiful. Well, everybody
Thank
go
you.
to Global Coherence Pulse to get the information and the details. Thank you, Jennifer. And Jennifer will be back
Yeah,
in
of
just a
course.
moment. Speaking of coming into coherence and collaboration, our good friend Jay Mayer reminds us to be part of this worldwide moment for peace. And the idea is anytime during the day to visualize world peace, but also visualize 8 p.m. with the idea that at 8 p.m. all around the world the call is going out. So it's a way again, that word is a way to come into coherence. So we want to invite everybody to come into coherence together, visualizing peace. I think most of us were shocked that we would even see a war in Europe like this again. It's so 75 years ago. It's so World War II, what's happening there. And my best friend is in Romania right now, where he had to open up an office because he had 200 employees living in Ukraine, many of whom are refugees, including his fiance is a refugee. And a lot of the people that I know, I've worked with, because I've been working with this company in Ukraine for 7 years, they've had to take up arms or they've become refugees. I mean, this is incredible that war in Europe is happening. And yes, I don't think any of us ever thought that a nuclear war would happen, but it's being threatened. And so now more than ever, we need to pray for peace, hold the vision for peace. So join the Moment for Peace movement. And there is a website that you can go to that's got more details. Again, I want to thank Jay Mayer who put it together. The momentforworldpeace.com. Momentforworldpeace.com. All right. Well, I hope that you're all enjoying the show. And remember to put into the chat box your thoughts, your comments, any questions that you have, because this show is for you. And I'm really excited. I get to bring back Tatiana, and she has a very special introduction to make.
Yes, I do. So I have the great honor of introducing someone very special to me, which is my beautiful mother, Miss Lorianne Speed. And Lorianne is a composer, pianist, recording artist, and also one of the greatest mothers of all time. She is also a multimodality healer, coach, intuitive. She's helped hundreds of people on their own journeys of healing. And my mama, this beautiful woman, is just a very healing presence, and I find that her healing energy really transmits as well through the piano. So as you're listening to this music, just really receive it as a transmission of healing. And I also want to introduce the song, if you don't mind, Mama, because she's going to play a song called When Angels Meet. And this is a song that I've been hearing. It's one of her older pieces. I requested it, that I've heard since I was a child. I've been listening to this piece of music, and this really is the soundtrack of my life. So, yeah. So it's really, really special for me to have her here and to be introducing her to Scott and this audience. And take it away, Mama. And you are, I think, muted? Nope, we can't hear you, Mama.
Still muted.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's it?
That's strange, because I can see that she's unmuting.
Yeah. But we're not hearing you for some reason.
Yeah. Did you change anything with the settings? Oh, now we hear.
Now we're here. Now we're here.
Can you hear me? Yeah?
Yes.
Yay. Beautiful. Scott, you're muted, darling.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. How wonderful to have mother and daughter both blessing us with really connecting us to the angels. You know, so much of tonight's show and really the awakening world is helping us to ascend to a higher vibration. And music like we both play helps us to do that. Thank you so much.
Mm.
And people can learn more about Lori by going to her website. It's her name, Lori Ann Speed, Lori-AnnSpeed.com. And yes, I'll accept your cookies. And Lori, anything you want to share about your offerings?
Well, thank you so much, Scott. What I offer on my website, if you visit, I have albums there, 6 albums of original music. One of them was nominated for Best Instrumental Release at the West Coast Music Awards. So there's lots of music to listen to or purchase if you like to. I would love that. And you could join my email list. That would be beautiful. I'd love to stay in touch. Thank you so much, Scott.
So let's all do that. Let's support our musical artists. It's so important to support both of these wonderful women by buying their albums and buying their music. So thank you. Thanks for being with us, both of you. And we're going to see more of Tatiana towards the end of the show. Jennifer, it's time for some more Ohm Healers.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you again, Lorianne. That was just so beautiful and peaceful and tranquil. Really deeply appreciate your love offering that you brought through music. So thank you, my friend. It's gorgeous. So now we go to Karen Frances McCarthy, who I am so delighted to have gotten to meet a little over a year ago when her best-selling book, Till Death Don't We Part, was launched. And I had the privilege of interviewing her on Awake TV network. And we just became fast friends. She's a soul sister in spirit. We just immediately hit it off. She is a phenomenal medium. Gosh, so many people. She's one of the go-to people. If anybody wants to connect with someone on the other side, Karen is the go-to. And what I really recommend is Karen is so pragmatic. She talks about it in her best-selling book, how she was a journalist, a very pragmatic, traditional, research the facts journalist, and then reconnected to her gifts after her fiance unexpectedly died. And again, go pick up the book, Till Death Don't We Part. It's brilliant. Not to mention her classes on mysticism and many other things. I was honored to get to be in one of her classes last year. And I learned how to tap into my deeper intuition, the power of prophecy, tea leaf reading. I mean, the list goes on and on. Karen, my friend, you know, I can't say enough good things about you. And I want to hand it over to you, though, to talk about the healing powers of mediumship, because I think that we underestimate how powerful it can be.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. And thank you, Scott, and everybody else. It's been lovely evenings so far. And when I was told that this evening was going to be about healing and also the weekend talking about spiritual intimacy, I thought, what a great marriage of two concepts around mediumship. Now, we know sort of mediumship, the healing with mediumship comes often, most traditionally, in terms of receiving messages. And it's been particularly profound over the last couple of years as well, because I've had many people come because their loved ones passed from COVID. They couldn't go to the hospital. They had no idea what was going on. They were left with all of these unanswered questions. But the healing power of receiving those messages by reconnecting with somebody in spirit form is immensely profound, and it's been the role of mediumship since it was emerged in the human race. But there's an aspect of mediumship that is immensely healing that is often overlooked, and it really comes from the healing that arises from the spiritual intimacy that mediumship offers. So as Jennifer mentioned, when I wrote that book, I wrote that book about these experiences, was when my fiance died, I began to realize that it's not just the messages. There's a transformative element to mediumship, and that comes from experiencing the single consciousness, the one mind that exists between all people. And how I realized that was I began to notice that he could hear my thoughts. And then what I began to notice, and this happens with most people, and they don't realize this is happening, is that you could be just sort of on about your business, washing the dishes at the supermarket, and out of the blue, a thought of your loved one flies into your mind completely. That's not normally how we think, because we normally sort of ruminate by association. And you think to yourself, God, that's unusual. I haven't thought about so-and-so in God knows how many years. And we think we've thought about them. And they've actually been thinking about us, and we felt that thought. And these sort of small experiences, they seem sort of small little experiences that go on in our day-to-day lives, are really evidence of the one mind, of the single consciousness that we're all part of. And that brings with it a level of intimacy that is not immediately apparent. So one of the things that I had to come to terms with, which was horrifying to me the first time I realized this, was that my fiance could hear all my thoughts because we were so close, that we were blended so closely that we could hear all my thoughts. And that sounds marvelous until you realize, oh my God, that means all the shadowy places, all of the secrets, all of the shame, all of the things I never want anyone to know about me, he can see. How horrifying. And it's not just him, it's everybody. It's now my mother, it's everybody. And you think, oh my God, And the next thing that I realized from this was, he has seen all of this in me, and he's still here. And that goes for all of us. They have seen, all of your loved ones have seen the shadowy side, what we perceive to be shame, the secrets, the things we never want anyone to know about us. And they're still here. Not only are they still here, but they still love us. They can love all of these things about us that we can't love about ourselves. They're still here. How intimate is that? How, it really shows us the power of unconditional love. And what I've realized is that when our loved ones go to the spirit world, so many of us think, oh, it's this big end. Now we're grieving. We've got this loss in our lives. And what we miss is that we are closer now than we have ever been. That we are loved more deeply now than we have ever been. Because everything we thought we needed to hide is out in the open and is still loved. And that compassion exists for us. And that loving kindness exists for us. And that unconditional love, which we could never truly grasp while we are running around in our bag of bones for this trip around the sun. Our loved ones who are in spirit form, who have the benefit of being able to reflect and being able to see and being able to perceive in this sort of telepathic communication, love us unconditionally, all of us, because they can see us all. So it took me a little while. I know it can be initially quite uncomfortable. Oh my goodness, I don't want anyone knowing that, How much acceptance is there in that? And that we talk about how we're unconditionally loved by the divine. And that's such a massive power and such a big concept. It's hard to understand that tangibly. But what we can experience tangibly is the power of that love for our loved ones that they show us. And I have people come to me all the time and they go, is my loved one still here? Is he aware of me? And when I say to them, there's no up there or over there. There is just the stream. The illusion is the bag of bones. So I say to somebody, well, yeah, you were down at the supermarket and you spent about 10 minutes trying to figure out what pasta to buy for dinner. And this woman said, yes, I was. Yes, I know you were, because he's telling me you did that because he was there watching you do it. And they can't believe these simple things. The most ordinary things in the world are still precious. Why? Because they're present with the person. So somebody deliberating for 10 minutes over a box of pasta is so typical of this man's wife that he has to be there to watch it and then let her know, I saw you still doing it. I had someone today tell me, tell her to clean the kitchen. She hasn't cleaned that kitchen in a week. I mean, the most ordinary things. This is how accessible this love is. And so the most important thing I find about the healing power of mediumship is the transformational power, the unconditional acceptance that we are shown in a very tangible way. And I teach this to people, as Jennifer knows, you've taken classes with me. I teach this to people all the time. And anybody who's interested, if you want to go to my website, I actually have recordings to lead people in these guided practices of achieving these altered states, to be able to tap into the sensitivity that's needed to experience the presence of our loved ones. Because one thing that mediumship has taught me, more than the little messages of the this and the that, and I'm sorry I wasn't with you, they wouldn't let me in because of COVID or whatnot, is the fact that we don't die, that there is a continuous consciousness, and that while we think death is some monumental incident in our life, in their lives, it was just a day. And the stream continues, and their presence continues, and their love continues. And what it shows us is how we can be transformed by that level of acceptance and love, and understanding that we are never alone, and that love never dies.
Wow. Thank you so much. A comment and a question. A comment is, I didn't know about your fiance passing. My wife also passed away. That was a big event in my life. And yeah, it changes as we learn how to stay connected to our beloveds. A question that somebody asked from Facebook was, do all beings, loved ones, when they pass, stay that connected to know what we're having for dinner? Or do some move on and still stay connected at the heart?
I think everybody stays connected at the heart. I think whether or not somebody's watching what you had for dinner or whether or not you cleaned the kitchen is going to depend on how close the relationship was. So I find that a lot with spouses. You know, my mother is very connected. My mother, I discovered, because this is my mother, would interrupt my thoughts. You know, we just ruminate most of the day. We ruminate, right? We just go, I wonder whether I had to sell my childhood home there a couple of years ago after my father passed. And I came back to New York and I was wandering about and I was just sort of waiting for the kettle to boil. And I was thinking, I wonder what she thinks of who I sold the house to. And I'm just thinking this to myself. And next thing I hear my mother interrupt me as clear as the day, because we don't normally think in full, complete sentences, right? That's not if we monitor the mind. My mother goes, couldn't be happier. And I'm like, that's my mother, you know, because that's the way my mother is and that's the way she communicates. So I think it depends on how frequently somebody is around us, how close that connection would be. And I'm not a believer in the move on, because it implies there's someplace else. And there isn't. There is the stream of consciousness. There is the present and only the present, which is why we know there's no concept of time in the afterlife. That's a construct of the four-dimensional world we're in. And so for me, my experience has been that it's almost like it's sort of a vertical experience rather than a linear experience, you know. I know people do grow and they do heal, and that's very apparent. But nobody who loves you is going to leave you.
Beautiful. Well, this is just a homeopathic dose of your medicine, and I want to encourage people to get much more. Go to her website. It's her name, Karen Frances McCarthy, KarenFrancesMcCarthy.com, and immediately put in your email address, as I just did, and subscribe to her newsletter. And let's always do that so we can stay connected to all the beautiful souls that we meet on the awakening world. And you do book appointments, yes?
Yes, yeah.
Great. So you can book an appointment with her, and let me bring our beloved Jennifer on for any final thoughts that she might have.
Yes, thank you so much. And I have to say, Karen, I've had such an awakening since I did that mysticism class. In fact, even on my end, I'd never had this happen before. About 3 weeks ago, ironically, right before I was going to Ireland, I was in a meditative state one day, and my Uncle Steve, I'd heard, wasn't feeling well. Like, I begged my dad to call him because Uncle Steve had been in some pain, and I talked to my cousins regularly. So my dad calls him and tells him to go get it checked. Well, that morning, I was doing my normal meditation. And at the end, I kind of tapped into Uncle Steve's soul. He was, just as far as I knew, alive and well. And I said, Uncle Steve, it's Jenny. I know I can't really reach you where you're at right now, but I just want you to know I love you and how are you doing? And without missing a beat, my Uncle Steve said, Jenny, I'm about to leave very soon. It's my choice. You're not allowed to tell my kids, and you're not allowed to tell your dad. And I just want you to know it's my choice. And I was just completely at peace. And I said, wow, thank you, Uncle Steve. I appreciate you letting me know. And 3 days later, Karen, right before I was going to bed, all of a sudden, Uncle Steve came in clear as day, and he said, hi, Jenny, I'm about to leave. Just know it's okay, and I love you. And 5 hours later, when I was asleep, my cousins texted me, he passed away. And it was just the most beautiful transition I had ever experienced for anybody I loved, because I knew that his soul was at peace, and, he was only in pain for a few days and was able to transition. So thank you for everything you taught me, Karen. I really can't thank you enough, my friend.
And I would like to just to say, if anybody does want to work on developing their sensitivity or understanding how to reach the altered states that make these sorts of communications happen, to go to my website. It's a bunch of guided exercises that are all free, that you're welcome to listen to if you want, under free offerings there. You're welcome to go along and have a listen to any of those if you like. And I do lots of free workshops. We do series, do lots of, if you get the newsletter, we'll keep you updated, but we do lots of free stuff as well as paid courses and private sessions. So you're all welcome to come to that. I'm a firm believer that the more people who understand the continuity of conscious, the more we will eliminate the fear of death, which seems to drive so much of our other existential angst in our lives.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your beautiful service to our world, and it's a pleasure to meet you.
You too.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. So much love, my friend.
Jennifer, do you want to introduce the next guest?
Yes, absolutely. So I am so lucky. This is kind of how I came to be co-founder of Ohm-Heels.com, is in my network of just wonderful, incredible people that I get to know and love is another gentleman, Aaron Rodriguez, who we met at the Kabbalah Center in Los Angeles. Gosh, so many years ago. It may have even been a decade ago when we first met Aaron, and we just kind of stayed in touch throughout the years. And now he is a Kabbalistic Reiki master guru. Try and put that all together, not to mention a shaman who practices plant medicine, and his sessions are so deep and profound. He uses a beautiful mixture of Kabbalistic technologies, tarot reading, Reiki energy. And you truly are one of the mystical ones, Aaron. I love that you integrate so beautifully all the facets of this healing diamond that you offer to the world. And I'm so grateful that we were able to reconnect and to have you as one of the healers on the OhmHill platform. I know my friend Sharon, who did a session with you, loved you so much that she invited you to come stay with her anytime that you're in Portugal. That's how good he is.
And I'm going to go take her up on her offer. But thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. It's been a while since we've known each other, and I'm glad that I can be a part of Ohm Heels. Thank you for the opportunity. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron. Well, talk a little bit about how you chose to integrate all of these beautiful practices, from Reiki to Kabbalah to shamanism and plant medicine, how did those all come together in your mind to integrate them into the healing practices you use?
Well, it wasn't easy because I had so many hangups. Even, as a kid, I was probably like 4 or 5 years old, and I knew that I had this gift, and my grandmother was a healer, and her grandfather was a shaman, and so I do come from this line, and but I just never really wanted to do it. I wanted to be normal, so to speak, right? And so I ran from everything. But then in my 20s, I started to study Reiki, and so I became a Reiki master pretty quickly, and started to do that, but not real full time. And it just, as time went on, I kept on doing it. And when I started to study Kabbalah, I just, everything for me was very categorized and delineated, if you will, or it all had its place. And I kept on getting this message that I needed to just combine everything. I needed to be able to go with whatever I felt. And my grandmother would come in and talk to me. I'd get all these messages, and so I just decided to do that. And it's really been amazing because it's helped so many people, to really reach their full potential and to be able to help heal them, or give them the tools really to heal themselves, because that's what we do, right? So.
So beautiful. And I wanted to talk a little bit about plant medicine because as we were talking offline before the show went live today, the show that we had done a few months ago in February, people were lit up and we were even exploring doing a full day on plant medicine. Can you talk a little bit about your experience with it? Because I feel like it's kind of that whoosh, we can't quite talk about that yet. And yet it's becoming more and more prevalent. And so for inquiring minds who might have questions about it, maybe share with us a little bit about your experience of how plant medicine integrates into energy medicine.
So, I'm in Seattle right now working with a client, but and we use plant medicine. I I came here to work with him for a month intensely, but I was in Ecuador, and I do a lot of work in Ecuador and Latin America and whatnot, and I just had done another session of ayahuasca and whatnot, and just had so many new ideas, so many awakening ideas that came to me when the spirit of ayahuasca, when she speaks to you and she gives you this information. And so, it's interesting because I was talking to somebody, and, they were talking about ayahuasca, and I said, listen, ayahuasca is not a magic cure. What you learn, what you get, the information that you get in that session is there for you now to make changes in your life. So it's an awakening process that happens. And this is what happens with all of the plant medicines. They work in so many different ways. One of the things that I do with my client, we do it at least once a day, usually 2 or 3 times a day, is mambe and ambil. And this is mambe, this is ambil. And mambe is, it's a mix of like coca leaf, eucalyptus, and I can't remember the name of the other one. And it's pulverized, it's dried and pulverized, and it's feminine energy. And then the ambil it comes from tobacco leaf, and it's basically boiled in salt water and reduced. And that's very masculine energy. And it has to do with balancing female and male energy. Also works on the throat chakra, but really will help to align all the chakras. It'll go throughout the body. It'll go wherever it needs to go. And all these plant medicines help to remove blockages, to help you help yourself. And so they're amazing. I use a lot of them with my clients when I'm there physically. And just use all different types like rapé, which is a tobacco snuff. So they're different, all different types.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I think that the thing that we all have the opportunity to explore and connect to is there are parts of ourselves that you could call them shadow parts or even perhaps blind spots, things we don't know. I remember I was doing a journey at some point in the last year or two, and I heard a message that we are all doing the best we can, and that includes you. And sometimes, just simple little things. And I like to think of plant medicine as it doesn't even have to be something that you imbibe. I love to talk to trees. Those of you who know me,
Oh yeah.
know that the apartment that I now have in Lisbon, it's very hard to find a great place here. And it was on the market for 3 hours. And later that day, I show up here and there are these two beautiful olive trees on the terrace. And I walked out and I didn't think anybody was going to notice because I thought people would think I was crazy. And I just lovingly put my left hand on the tree and just asked it from my heart to its, how are you doing? Is this a good place to live? And the tree was like, oh, it's beautiful. It's magical. You're going to love it. And 2 days later, we're signing the lease. And they literally said to us, do you know why we chose you? And I said, no. They said, we saw you talking to our tree. And so you got to love, but I say that because whether you choose to imbibe it or and obviously look at the legal ramifications around that wherever you're going, we're not encouraging that. But, look at what's healthy for you. Just connect to nature. I think that's a beautiful
Definitely,
way that we can all heal with the
definitely.
plants and the trees.
Yeah,
Talk to us about that. What's your experience with connecting with nature?
it's so interesting because I just my client and I went out to the waterfalls here just outside of Seattle, and I took some plant medicine. So we took some plant medicine and just sat out in nature. And as soon as he put it into his mouth, he was like, oh my gosh, I feel it vibrating throughout my body. And I said, well, yeah, because you've already been doing this now for, a week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever it was at the time. And I said, your body has this plant energy in it. It's communicating. Now you're communicating with all nature. Not only that, but what I tell people is that, after I had this breakup that was really intense, and took me a long time to get over my ex, I had gone into hiking mode, and I was hiking in the hills behind my house like twice a day. And when you connect to La Pachamama, Mother Earth, when you connect, what you don't realize, or what happens is that, by you connecting to Mother Earth, the trees, the animals, whether you see them or not, all of nature is taking your negative energy and transmuting that energy. So it's the same process as a tree taking carbon monoxide and turning it into oxygen. And so it's so beautiful, and it helps us. And if we can connect to Mother Earth, we can heal ourselves with that support, because it's there for us. And that's what we need to realize, is we can connect always. But it's nice when you do have the plant medicine, because then you're in that vibration already.
Yeah, I think everything is vibration. The more that we can connect to the vibratory nature of ourselves and the world around us, and connect to the frequency. And sometimes, if we're going through, we were talking earlier about depression and health opportunities, and that's a certain vibrational frequency. And where we connect to perfect health and wholeness, and boom, pop right into that fifth dimension, is when we lift our vibration, when we move out of that vibration of lack of health, of illness, and fear and doubt and depression and a myriad of other things. We can pop our consciousness, as string theory and multiverse theories tell us. We can pop in and out. And so the more that we use these tools, the plants, the energy, the tarot, Kabbalah, which you and I are both huge fans of, the greater that we can do the work we want to do. And I do want to give a little shout out to the Kabbalistic energy that's happening right now. I know I'm not an astrologer, but I'm sure you can speak to this as well, Erin. The energy of this period is called the Omer, that started the day after Easter and goes until I think it's June 4th. And for anybody out there who's struggling right now, if you are going through a hard time, know that during this period, you are being given a beautiful gift. 8 times, that's right, 8 times more challenges are coming during this period until June 4th, every single day. And simultaneously, you have access to 8 times more transformation. So I just wanted to do that public service announcement in case people weren't aware of that.
No, and that's amazing. It is amazing, and we have Lag BaOmer coming up, on Wednesday, I think it is, and so really connecting to that energy, that respite that we'll have there with Lag BaOmer, but also just it's heavy energy right now, and so stay strong, connect to your angels, connect to your guidance team, and to people in your tribe that are there to help you connect to nature. It will help you through this difficult time, most definitely.
Beautiful, Erin. And so I invite everybody in the chat. I see some of you are already doing it. Put down your favorite ways to connect to the divine, to connect to Gaia, to nature. And we'd love to hear from you. And then, Scott, I'll turn it over to you to go ahead and share Erin's website. And thank you, my friend. It's such a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, Erin, what a pleasure meeting you. And Erin's website is ReikiMasterGuru.com. ReikiMasterGuru.com. That covers the bases. Restore your spiritual DNA with Kabbalistic Reiki. Erin, I'm so impressed with how you weave together these different disciplines and these different schools of thought in a unique and magical and wonderful way. So, and people can apply, go for appointments with you. And there's, of course, all sorts of information. We did have a question from somebody, Dorina, who's one of our regulars watching from Ecuador, wanted to know where in Ecuador you might be.
Well, right now, I'm obviously in Seattle, but usually I'm in Quito. But, I was doing a media tour in Ecuador, so it was all over Ecuador. But I have my apartment in Quito as well.
Okay, well, maybe you and Dorina will get a chance to hook up. Dorina, maybe send him a message on in our chat box. Erin, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you for the wonderful work you're doing.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
We use music, Jennifer, to really integrate all this wisdom that we're receiving. And I'm really happy that one of our musical artists who's really become, lately I've been calling him the house musician because he's with us almost every show that we do. And of course, I'm talking about the wonderful Omashar. Omashar, how are you feeling after your healing treatment, and what do you have for us?
It's a lot because there's so much happening everywhere at the moment, and the only choice is to get lost in it, or actually become let's say centered in it. And what a rich and diverse show we have tonight. Holy smoke, it's coming from every angle, and I wanted to say all these things, and I know I'm just going to play some music, but I've done a lot of events down in the South America, Erin, and just most recently, about 2 months ago, 6-7 weeks ago, I was in Peru, in the Sacred Valley area, and I'm bringing this up because I'm currently in Colorado, and I was brought up in England. Every corner shop in England, there's next to it, and every church there's a pub. Every corner in Colorado, there's a pot shop. Every corner in Cusco and Peru, there's a plant medicine shop. It's fully legal. So it's so weird how it's taboo here in the States and not there. And that was just my little brief snippet that was inspired by that. I got a couple of things. The other thing is, Laurie Ann, thank you so much for the piano thing. I was blessed with having a grand piano in my lounge the whole of my life. My mum, who could not play, taught me how to play piano through books. And she had 3 chores I had to do: mow the lawn, do the dishes, and play the piano. And because of that, it's taken me around the world a gazillion times. 2 more things. My gran, when her daughter died when she was 20, the daughter just walked through the wall just before she even knew she died. And then she told me that about a decade ago before she passed. And so it's just very interesting. Okay, that's it. No more words. Here's the song. It's called Come Back and Play. It's from my Shine On album, I think. I have so many albums I can't remember. and the lyrics are basically Divine Mother speaking to us. And so, without further ado, let's take a couple of deep breaths and let's see if this works. In the beginning when we were one, life was fun. The human race had just begun. When you were children you laughed and played in the sun. So tell me now, where have you gone? Come back and play with the divine. You're part of me, walking through time. I didn't leave you in the dark. You are the jewel in my heart. We could never be apart. I yearn for you endlessly. A field of dreams in between. You are the children of the sun, all of you. The world awaits your point of view. So come back and you're part of me, walking through time. I didn't leave you in the dark. You are the jewel in my heart. We could never be apart.
I love that one. And yes, when we had just begun, we were having fun. Let's get back to that place, shall we? That was a good one.
Thank you.
You know, people can listen to Almost Shore music anytime. Of course, we're happiest when you're listening to him because you're watching The Awakening World. But he has a wonderful YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, put in Omashar, and there's
Overshow
always
music.
Omashar music. Well, I just put in Omashar, and you show up right
Yeah.
away. Yep, they find you.
There's tons on there. My website's under reconstruction, but if you go onto omashar.com, it's a bit funky, but it works. But you click mailing list, and you can go on my mailing list.
Oh, okay. So go to omashar.com and
.com.
get onto the mailing list.
Yeah,
That's
thank you so
important.
much. That's
Omashar,
awesome.
thank you so much. You bring so much to our world. Really appreciate. I love that song. That was a really good one. That was a good one.
Shine on.
All right. A couple more Global Peace Tribe announcements. Alan Steinfeld is here. And of course, Alan is one of our favorite collaborators. And you're looking, you must be on your iPhone, primarily in the darkness, Alan.
In my spaceship, Scott. I'm in my spaceship.
You're in your spaceship. So I don't have the video because last time you showed it.
Oh, I thought I sent it to you. Sorry,
Well, I tell you what, I will try and find it while you tell people a little bit about making contact, and I'll pull up the poster for
great.
people to look at while you describe it. How's that?
Great. Yeah, it's on YouTube. But anyway, I've written this book called Making Contact, and then I'm doing a series of 5 talks with experts in the field. And if you've been paying attention to the news, on May 17th, the House of Representatives of the U.S. Congress is holding the first hearings in 50 years on the truth behind UFOs and what they're calling UAPs, because it's not just objects in the sky. There's actually a whole phenomenon. So I'm doing a 5-part series with Scott's old co-host, Deborah Giusti, and it's called the Making Contact series. And each week, we're going to go deeper and deeper into the phenomena. So this is a discussion that's very complex. We are in the middle of awakening to a new planetary civilization. And I thought the only way to do this was to write a book, but then do this series with Deborah Giusti. And who's going to be on the first series is Nick Pope, who was a Minister of Defense in Britain studying UFOs. And then I have, on the second show, I have Danny Sheehan, who's the lawyer for Lou Elizondo, and Steve Bassett, who's the only UFO lobbyist in Washington. And then on the third show, I have Carolyn Corey talking about her new film, which is about the science of UFOs, called A Tear in the Sky, with Travis Taylor, who's a big History Channel feature. And then I have the deepest dialogue of all, I think, is with Linda Moulton Howe and Whitley Strieber, 2 experts, deep people in the field of understanding ufology. And then the starseeds, Marina Sarin, Adam Apollo, Mary Roswell. So did you find the video, Scott?
I did. So let's take a look.
So sign up for makingcontactseries.com, and here's a little promo. From deep, deep in outer space, to planet Earth, to the red rocks of Sedona, to our online community here, comes a time, a message, a special series on making contact.
There is no better time for making contact. I'm George Norrie, host of the national radio show Coast to Coast AM. Alan Steinfeld has put together a well-conceived collection that covers it all.
Thanks, George, for that introduction. This is Alan Steinfeld, the editor and author of Making Contact, which is a collection of writings of the best and brightest people in the field of ufology. I'm putting together a special series of some of these fantastic contributors to my book. People like Whitley Strieber, Linda Moulton Howe, Carolyn Corey, Nick Pope, JJ and Desiree Hertog, Adam Apollo, the alien lady Mary Rodwell, and such contactees as Marina Sarin and Kamara Jones and the art of Kamara Jones, plus some very special surprises in the field. Please join me for this fantastic series of dialogues as I dive deeper into anything I've done before. For more information and for a complete description of the 5-week course, go to makingcontactseries.com. George, any final comments?
The contributions of all these people help to give insight into the multifaceted intentions of the phenomena. because making contact presents the opportunity for us to prepare to meet advanced civilizations. Someday, somehow in the future, the conflicts that have plagued our species for eons will come to an end. And by making contact, we will take our rightful place among the stars.
The Making Contact series is presented by Alan Steinfeld and New Realities, Deborah Giusti and the Global Peace Tribe, in association with Neil Gar, Portal to Ascension, and Star Family Wisdom. Join us for this online series, Making Contact, the New Realities of Disclosure and Cosmic Awakening, Thursdays beginning May 19th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific Time. To find out more and to sign up, go to makingcontactseries.com. See you there. See, hey, Scott, I want to say one more thing is that this is not just a simple thing. Oh, yeah, there's aliens. This is a huge transformation in the consciousness of humanity. And we're going to be diving deep into that discussion, how this is fundamentally going to change us as a civilization. And I think it's a very positive threshold we are at the edge of. So thanks for that opportunity.
Hey, thank you, Alan, for what you're doing. Looking forward to the series starting very, very soon.
Yes.
So everybody register, and remember, it's free to register for the first show, so you can really drop in and get a good taste of it. So
right. And we're going to be going over what's happening in Congress as this thing unrolls before the world here. So this is so exciting for me to be right there at the edge and discussing this and dissecting it. So join us. Thank you.
You're the man. You are the UFO. You know what's going on. So
I don't know what's going on. Nobody.
Well, as best as anybody. So thank you, Alan. Thanks.
Thanks, Scott. Okay.
A couple more quick announcements. Definitely want to invite everybody to our final Awakening World of this weekend, which is, of course, tomorrow morning. And we've got 4 wonderful guests. Beautiful Josiane Bonte Apollon, who is a brilliant psychologist. She's been on the show before, and she especially works with people struggling with racial and sexual trauma. And so she's going to offer some really beautiful tips, tools, and practices. And then Jonathan and Heike Hudson are going to be with us. They do very deep work, and they're going to talk about their work with Julie Avena, who in her own right is a brilliant therapist. So it's going to be a powerful Sacred Sunday show tomorrow morning. So please do join us for that. And then next weekend, we did not get enough of Jennifer Cahill, and we're going to hear more from her tonight. We're not done with her, but we get a whole weekend with Jennifer, and I'm going to bring her on right now. Jennifer, tell us a little bit about what's going to be happening next weekend. Oh, I brought up the wrong one, though. Let me bring up the big one. That was what's happening on Sunday. Tell us about the whole weekend.
We are so grateful and lucky, Scott. You were incredible to ask me to help coordinate and co-facilitate the show. We have some wonderful healers on the platform. We have Lion Goodman. We also have Haley Enright, Vlada D'Souza, so many incredible people, Shannon Leischner, as well as a few other people who are not part of the platform. We have Dr. Krista, who will be joining us. And we also have best-selling author Kimberly Meredith. Now, that's just really on the Friday and the Sunday. On the Saturday night, I am so thankful to get to co-collaborate with several evolutionary leaders, including our friend Jude Curvin, who's now become a dear personal friend of mine, Adam Hall, Julie Kroll, Teresa Collins. And with everything that's happening in the world, as Alan just alluded to, humanity is going through a huge transformation. We've been seeing it happen right now with old systems decaying, economic systems, medical systems, economic systems, and education. And with all of this, we have a choice as humanity. What do we want to put into this space? In this vacuum, in this space, what do we consciously want to put into it? And so Jude Curvin and about 40 other thought leaders total co-wrote something called the Unitive Narrative that was originally written for the 2030 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And when I first found out about it, I talked to Jude and Adam and several others, and I said, what if we gave people access to this around the world and we could all see the world through a lens of unity? how would that shift our political systems? How would that shift our economic systems? How would that shift as we show up as human beings? And so, since I've been in the inquiry of this, I'll be very honest, I've been seeing all the ways that I am not unity. I remember right after I got involved in this project, I was walking down the street with my dog and I would see dog poop. Now, I don't know about any of you, but I was like, ew, your dog poop, your problem. And then it dawned on me, Scott, and everyone out there, that it's not just your dog poop, it's our dog poop. And it's a metaphor for the poop or shit, whatever you want to call it, that's happening in the world. And the more that we actively participate in supporting one another and picking up the proverbial poop that's around the world, that's how we can come back into harmony with one another. And so the idea is to begin to explore and look at our lives. And we're going to be talking about listening to the soul and empowering our purpose. So on the Friday and the Sunday, we're really going to be talking about listening to our soul from a healing perspective, clearing those beliefs, connecting to the deeper divine self. And on the Saturday show, we're going to be exploring, how do we connect to Mother Earth's soul? How do we connect to Gaia's soul and to the planet's soul? And how can we support that? And I think, are going to hear from Jude a little bit about her new book around the story of Gaia that's already on the bestseller list, if I'm not mistaken, for the pre-sale. So I'm just so excited to be with you again next weekend, Scott, and with all of you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I love the show. I love the people we meet. Every show, every person that's on the show is just such a beautiful light being. And I want to acknowledge that they're the people you see on the show, but everyone watching, whether you're in our Zoom room or on Facebook or watching the recording, you are just as important as Alan Steinfeld and Jennifer Hill and Omashar. We all are cells in the butterfly coming together out of the old paradigm, out of the caterpillar. And just like all the imaginal cells find each other in the dying goop of the caterpillar and form a butterfly, that is what's happening here. And the Global Peace Tribe just represents a small fraction of the millions of beings on this planet that are committed to peace and committed to being part of an awakening world. So if you're here, if you're hearing my voice, whether you come every week or whether this is the first time, you are precious. And you're just as important as anybody you're seeing on this show. I really want to make sure everybody understands that. We're going to play a little video. I'm a big fan of the Beatles. I imagine most of us are. And as I've grown up, I grew up with the Beatles. As a little kid, they were like my first favorite band. But I've come to realize that their wonderful song, All You Need Is Love, isn't quite right. The truth is, we need more than love. But we need to do everything with love. Do it with love. So I've always had a fantasy of meeting Paul or Ringo and saying, hey, guys, would you mind re-recording it? And instead of all you need is love, do everything with love. Well, I haven't met Paul and Ringo yet, but Johanna Beekman heard what I said, and she said, I'll do that for you, Scott. So this is Johanna Beekman's version of Scott's variation, and we've added images of some of our wonderful presenters that you will recognize from the Awakening World.
Love, 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 love. Love is everything. Love is everything. Love, 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 love. Love, love, love. Love, 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 love. Love, love, love. Oh, oh, oh. Nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. Do everything with love. Do everything with love. Do everything with love. Love. Love is everything. Nothing you can make that can't be made. Nothing you can save that can't be saved. Nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be you in time. It's easy. Yeah. Do everything with love. Do everything with love. Do everything with love. Love. Love is everything. Love is everything. Love is everything. Yeah. Love is everything. Love is everything.
You know, all those people that you saw in that video, all the people that we're seeing tonight, they're doing it all with love. And let's just think about that. Whatever we're doing, whether we're in a period of rest in our life, whether we're in a period of activity in our life, let's just make sure we're doing it with love. Okay? Thanks for watching, and I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer.
Thank you, Scott. I couldn't agree more. What if we all did everything with love, love consciousness, instead of being frustrated or irritated? Most importantly, with ourselves, I think our greatest capacity to extend compassion to another begins with our ability to extend compassion to ourselves. So what if we did all the things with love, even ourselves, when we're being hard on ourselves or saying you suck or you're not good enough? We wouldn't speak to our friends that way. So let's start to show the love to ourselves, and by that, be able to radiate that love then out to the other people in our world. So next we have David Grood, another Ohm-Heels.com practitioner who is a wonderful dear friend. I love him. I've known him for many years. He is my go-to numerology intuitive. I've been working with David for probably over 7 years now. He was introduced to me through a mutual friend, Julian Adler. And at least once or more a year, I do a numerological reading with David that is so powerful. He will literally go through with you every month during the year, tell you what potential speed bumps you might anticipate, what months you might want to travel, what months you might need more rest. And David, I just heart you, my friend. As you know, I love all of our sessions. That's why I keep coming back to you year after year and refer you to so many people. And he is with Inner Precision, which is his own company. And David, I am so grateful that you're here with us today to talk to us about acceptance, which I think is so important.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's so great to be here, and thank you for having me. And thank you, everyone. What a privilege and honor to be here with such world-class people presenting. Thank you. I want to first start and invite Saint Germain, one of the Ascended Masters, to be present here with us to bring through the violet flame of purification, to burn bright in all of our hearts for all of humanity, for our planet, from the core of the earth, out to wherever that violet flame is needed, and to connect that with the universal heart, the violet flame, to burn bright and strong within each of us, to purify, to transmute all negativity and to clear and transform us to what we're opening to. And I want to start with, I was an art major in university many years ago. And I had to take some classes outside of my major. And one of those classes was the Holocaust and genocide. And I thought, wow, I already thought I knew everything there was to know from movies and things like that about the Holocaust. And wow, was I mistaken. And they had guest speakers come in to speak about different things. And one of them was a Holocaust survivor. And one of the things that he said was really, has always stayed with me. He said, whenever we're unwilling to see reality clearly and to deal with it clearly, it's very destructive. And what I found through doing readings for over 30 years is that most people have one area at least of their lives where they might not see or hold reality in a clear way. They hold it in a way where it's not, maybe not based in reality, but maybe idealized, or maybe changing it to fit the way they want it to fit, or to see it the way they want to see it, but not working with it what is clearly. And that always stayed with me. And so in a lot of the work I do with people, we look at the blind spots, you know, what's underneath, what's really going on in this area of reoccurring patterns. And so in 2013, at the end of that year, I came out of a dating situation, and it was not a great ending. It was like a train wreck. It happened on text messages unexpectedly after I brought this person home to meet my family for a holiday dinner. And it was just a train wreck. And it just derailed me because I wasn't expecting it. And it was the way that it happened. And, you know, there was just all these pieces to it. And so I found myself being a little flatlined and leveled by it for about a week. And I was in a really deep suffering around it, which gave me an amazing gift. And what happened was I realized that most of my suffering was because I didn't want to accept it for what it was. And that created a very profound, deep suffering. And so what happened then was I decided to go in the mirror, and I looked at myself in the eyes and connected with myself, and I was completely present. And any of you can do this. And when you look in the mirror and you connect with yourself in the eyes, I said to myself, what would happen if I was willing to just for one moment not have a need for anything to be different, not have a need or a desire or want to change anything from what it is. And I could just completely accept it completely for what it is. And so I decided, as I was looking at in my eyes, connecting with my inner self, my soul, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to try on the outfit of acceptance and feel what it feels like and feel it fully. And when it happened, I went boom, and I rebirthed into something else in that moment. And it took me out of so much of my intensity of deep suffering in that moment. And that was amazing. And so a lot of times since then, I've invited people to work with and try on the outfit of acceptance, because it's a fun outfit to try on sometimes. It can fit interdimensionally, and you all might enjoy it. Anyway, long story short, I had my first and only Bufo journey this year. And for those of you that don't know what that is, that's the toxic or poisonous resin from the Sonoran toad. And people have an experience of smoking it, and they go on a journey for healing. And all I can say is, OMG, I had another level of acceptance, because, you know, unexpectedly, I basically had an experience of dying on it completely. And when I realized that I was dead in my journey, I was like, wow, now my mom and my partner are going to have to deal with it. And I felt really bad. And that took me a while to process. But what I want to say here is that I got to a place of being able to completely, not just 90% accept that I was dead and that I wasn't coming back, I 1,000% accepted it. And when I was 1,000% able to accept it, and something happened in me that fully let go completely. And I went boom into the white light and merged and had no identity. I just merged with God in the white light. And not that I recommend this for everybody. However, it was like so full on and so indescribable. And why I'm sharing it with you all is it took me a while to process, and I'm probably still processing some of it, is that, you know, even when we leave our body and let go of everything, it's still an invitation to be an acceptance. So it doesn't have to be such a drama. And the thing is, you know, every day we can, if we work with acceptance in a different way, and we accept ourselves, and we accept the aging process, and we accept where we find ourselves, and we accept all of it and just love all of it, it's so healing and so deep and so nurturing and so profound, and there's no words to describe it. And it's like, wow, thank you, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Thank you for allowing us to be here while we're in the ascension process. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, thank you very much for being with us. Two things. I love that you talk about acceptance, and I think that if you take a look at our greatest spiritual teachers that have lasted a long time, that's what they embodied. You know, Prince Siddhartha became the Buddha of compassion when he accepted there is suffering. Jesus on the cross, tortured and crucified, and able to reach the level of acceptance of forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. And so it keeps going on. Learning and acceptance doesn't mean condoning hurtful behavior. It doesn't mean we have to like our circumstances in the moment, but dropping into presence regardless of what's happening. So thank you so much, David. And before you go, people have inquiring minds want to know about this incredible blood moon lunar eclipse that's coming up. And someone in the chat box said, ask David Grood, he's a master astrologer. So can you give us any insight as to what this event that's about to happen means and how to work with it?
It's so funny because I'm not an astrologer, but I love astrology. But the one thing that comes to me when you ask is we all get an opportunity to trust our hearts, to trust ourselves, to trust life, to trust God. We get to trust because God trusted us with so much. So it's like letting go of what is no longer needed and opening up to what God has trusted us with and given to us, and accept that as our path and be willing and open to work with it.
Beautiful, beautiful. And any last tips of how to work with the energies of this weekend?
Allow yourself the graciousness of space to go within and to just nurture yourself through silence and being able to connect.
Beautiful. Thank you. And for more David, his website is innerprecision.com. Isn't that beautiful? I tell you, the names of these people's websites tonight is just so beautiful. Of course, please join David's mailing list, just like I just did. And you can book a session with him, and take a look at these testimonials. I mean, clearly David has done incredible work. So read the testimonials, book a session, contact him. I think we're seeing that David is very, very open. And let's bring on David's friend and the woman who introduced him to the awakening world, who's Jennifer.
Hi, thank you so much, David. You know, I heart you, and it's so funny. We're actually coming up with a system for healers, one of our business advisors, that helps people understand what the different specialties and modalities are. Because you automatically think, oh, numerology is astrology, but numerology is actually more than numbers of names and dates and different things. And astrology is a different thing. And if anybody wants, there's a great healer who's not part of our platform right now, but a great guy who I go for all my astrology stuff. His name is Ty Hudnell, and he's in Sedona. So if anybody wants information from him, it's Sedona something or other, but you can Google him and he's wonderful. So it's like 75 for a session, and really love Ty. He does all my astrology for anybody who needs that. And David, I just cherish you, my friend. You offer so much wisdom. And on the note of acceptance, I think it's so powerful. And sometimes we do go through these transformational experiences like the bufo that you mentioned. May I share a quick story that could get people to the same idea of acceptance if you're open to it?
Please.
So I want to share a quick story, Scott, of acceptance. There was once upon a time, a couple hundred years ago in Eastern Europe, there were three sages, and their only job of these sages was to travel the world looking for the deepest wisdom in the same way that sometimes we use plant medicine or other things to journey and find wisdom now. And these sages came upon this village, and as they arrived, there was a light kind of emanating just a little bit out the window. And it was before the days of electricity. And so they couldn't quite figure out where this light was coming from. So they ventured inside and they saw a man just sitting there and he's eating his stew. And they went up to him, but he had this radiance, this light little bit of light around him. And they said, "Excuse me, sir. You know, we are sages. It is our job to pull the deepest wisdom from the world and deliver it to humanity. And we notice that you seem to be glowing a little bit. Is there something maybe you're doing that the rest of us aren't doing?" And the gentleman was very humble and he kind of looks down at his bowl of stew and he says, "Oh, thank you, kind sirs. And I wish I could tell you I was special, but you see, I am just a normal man. There's nothing special about me. I wish you, kind sirs, well on your journey." And so the sages are a little crestfallen, but they continue on their way and they're in the village for a couple more days before they go on their journey. And the second day they walk by, this time they see light literally radiating out from the door of the tavern. It's lunch again. And there's the gentleman sitting at a table near the door of the tavern. And they said, "Beg our pardon, sir, but there's clearly something you're doing that the rest of us aren't doing. Did you give any thought to our inquiry yesterday?" And the gentleman, again, very humbly kind of looks down and looks up and says, "Oh, thank you, kind sirs. I've been thinking very much about what you asked me. And I reflected, I try to be a good husband, a good father, a good brother, a good friend, but there's nothing special about me. I'm sure you're looking for someone else. I wish you well on your journey." And so the final day, as the sages are getting ready to depart the village, they have to walk by this tavern. And the light is so radiant, it's coming right out of the window. You can't even see anything but this light. And there's the gentleman, and he's eating his midday stew. And they said, "Sir, you don't understand. It is imperative that we understand what is it that has you glow so brightly compared to the rest of us." And the gentleman looks down and he says, I pray. I try to be a God-fearing man. I try to pray, but there is nothing else special about me. Have a safe sojourn, gentlemen." And they begin to exit. And as they exit, the man holds up his finger and he says, and the sages are back at his attention. And he says, "There's this one thing I do that maybe not everyone else does. Every night before I go to bed, I say, 'God, universe, creator, if you know that tomorrow I will wake up and I will reveal the light that you intend me to reveal, please wake me. However, if you know that tomorrow I will not wake up and I will not reveal the light that you intend me to reveal, please don't wake me, and thank you for this time.'" And I share this, David, and each of you, because, whether it's Bufo or an experience like this, I've only had that courage to say that prayer about 50 times in my life. And the times, it was about 3 years ago that I learned it, that I have had the courage to say that prayer. There's the deepest level of acceptance that I've ever had. In that moment, I just thank the creator, I thank the universe, and I say, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And I am so delighted and surprised when I wake up the next day. And what I love about that is that the days that I do wake up, I am looking that whole day for how I can reveal more light than I've ever revealed before. And just today, I was on the phone with somebody who normally wouldn't be confrontational. And there was a dear friend who has a drug and alcohol issue. And that person, after I had recently said this prayer, she was able to reach out to this friend in the most loving, compassionate way and be there for her friend without judgment. And I would have not normally ever said anything to this person. So it really gives us courage. And I just wanted to share that if anybody wants to ever try it, it's a very powerful act of acceptance that does not require plant medicine. So thank you. Scott, I think if you're talking, my friend, I can't hear you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, David. Thank you for that beautiful fable and that beautiful modeling, Jennifer. Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to actually bring Tatiana back on, and she's going to introduce one of the things that I love that she does is she not only records these beautiful songs, but then she creates videos to go along with the songs. And so we're going to see one of those videos. It's called Refuge. And I'd love for you to introduce it, Tatiana. You're muted. And then we'll play it.
Can you hear me now?
I sure can.
Oh, good. So I'm really excited to share this song today because this song just officially dropped a few days ago. So this is a really new song that just came out, and it's called Refuge. You can find it on Spotify and all the places. And I did make a video for it. This video was kind of an experiment, but I actually wove together clips from all these different films to kind of create this vignette that I hope will lead you deeper into the song. And I feel like Refuge is also a really appropriate song for today. It's a really healing piece of music, I feel. It was another song. It was actually a song I wrote during my own healing journey, and the experience was actually of it singing to me through me, if that makes sense. It really felt like love itself, or the divine feminine, or just this other presence came and was singing really to me, and then I felt it was also embracing just the whole world, in just this experience of love. And love itself is so healing, and when we're going through difficult times, sometimes the most comforting thing is just someone who loves us, whether that's whether we tune into that in a divine way or it's actually human connection. So yeah, that's Refuge, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you.
All right. Here we go. Pulling it up right now. I've got it ready to go. There it is.
Darling, come and rest here in the silence upon my chest. For so long you have fought this war. Come into my arms, don't fight anymore. When your heart is breaking, spirit's aching, remember, my love will hold you now. My love enfolds you now. I'll be your refuge, your refuge. I'll hold you. I can see how hard you try. I can feel how much you hold inside. Rest in this love and be renewed. Fall into me. That's all you have to do. When your heart is breaking,
Mm. Tatiana, the combination of your exquisite voice and your editing skills, it's such, I think it's the fifth or sixth time I've watched that video, and every time I see it, it's just amazing.
Oh, yay.
Big twinkling. You have so many gifts, and thank you for just the passion of your heart. Thank you.
Thank you for receiving me, Scott. This is really special for me too. Just this show is really the first place I've been sharing my music publicly, so it means a lot to be here.
Well, you are a precious part of our Global Peace Tribe family. And again, everybody, you can get much more of her by going to TatianaSpeed.com, her website. So let's all go there, register Caravan. We've played it on my show a couple times now. It's beautiful. And, go buy her music, please, please,
Yeah,
please.
follow me on Spotify. Not Spotify, sorry. Oh, that too. But Instagram, I'm doing a lot of updates from Instagram or my mailing list, and that's where I'm kind of keeping people posted on. I've got a really cool new song coming out next month that I really can't wait to show you guys. So
Thank you, Tatiana. Well, I'm sure we will see you again here soon.
yes.
And thank your mom again for coming with us too. Everybody, I had considered doing an after show, but I got to be really honest. I have a lot of moving and packing to do. And that video is so powerful. I think let's wrap it with that. But Jennifer, thank you so much. I'm so glad I get to spend next weekend with you. And thank you for all the people you've invited tonight and next weekend. And I certainly hope that I'm going to see everybody tomorrow for our Sacred Sunday show. Again, just a reminder, 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern. Again, we have some real world-class healers who are going to be joining us tomorrow morning. So hopefully we'll see you then. And Jennifer, all of our presenters, I'm going to go to gallery view. So, hey, people, turn on your cameras for those of you that are with us, including John Martin, who was going to be on the after show, but I'm going to get back to packing. Debbie Johnston, thank you for all that you do. Safe travels on the airplane tomorrow. And everybody, God's blessings. Thank you for watching us. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow morning, and definitely